this week I'm making a frozen theme cake for Cora, who's turning 4. I think this is one of the most popular themes amongst girls around this age, so let me show you how it's done. First, I'm starting with the snowflakes. I'm using these Fondant Snowflake tools. Then I'm working on the trees. I'm using 3 cutters that come in 3 different sizes. Now for these specific trees, I hand cut the leaves using my X-Acto knife. I call these white trees, and they will go on the side of my cake. They are pretty time-consuming, so I just made a few of them. I'm also making blue snowflakes because I think 2 colors look much better together. Now for these trees, since the buttercream covering will have an ombre blue and white effect, I thought it would be cool to make some ombre trees as well. I kind of regret it at the end though, because these trees took forever to make. So I had to layer each color, cut the shapes and stick them onto the trees. But at the end, I was happy with how they turned out. So here is a close-up video. So I started with the dark blue color and gradually worked my way to the lighter blue. I think they turned out looking a little different but super cute. Next, I'm sticking all the white tree parts, the branches and the leaves, onto a piece of fondant. So it becomes a single tree piece that will be easier for me to attach to the cake later on. So this process is pretty time consuming as well, because I had to cut the shape of each leaf one by one, but I did it at the end. Now, since I wanted some of my ombre trees to stand up on the cake, I attached floral wires to the back of them. I ended up having all the trees on the top of the cake. I'll tell you later why I did that. Okay, now finally my ombre trees are done. Luckily, my client provided the frozen figurines, so I didn't have to make those myself, which would have taken me forever. Okay, next up, I'm making the name. So these alphabet cutters are pretty cool. You just need a pin or a needle to take the letters out. I use a pin here, and it's a little fiddly, but thankfully it's just a 4-letter name, which is a lot easier. Okay, now I'm stacking the cakes. I have 4 layers of vanilla sponge cake with Swiss meringue buttercream filling in between each layer. So I'm just stacking them carefully and making sure everything is level. So this cake is a 6-inch cake and I'm using a 10-inch board, so I have some space for the figurines later. As always, I trim the sides of the cake to make sure they are as straight as possible. And here I'm applying a thin layer of buttercream to catch all the crumbs from the cake. This process is called crumb coating. Once the crumb coating is done, I chill the cake in the fridge for 10 to 15 minutes. And after that, I will come back and apply the second layer of buttercream to cover the entire cake. Now I'm adding the second color, which is a light blue. I found that using my silicone spatula was much easier for this, and then I use my palette knife to smooth it out. So next, I'm adding the third layer of buttercream, which is a darker blue. It's hard to see on the screen, but I didn't want it to be too dark, so I only added a small amount of darker blue gel. So here I'm just trying to smooth out the entire cake covering. So once I was happy with the whole cake covering, I added some textures. I'm using my palette knife to create some grooves or snow ripples effects, I think that's what you call it, which I also did on the top. So now I'm just adding all the decorations I made earlier, the ombre trees, the name, the white trees around the side of the cake. I do wish I'd made the white trees taller, but that's okay. Here I'm adding blue and white snowflakes as well around the cake. The frozen toy figurines were provided by my client, and I think they look really cute. All I had to do was to add them to the board. I'm also adding a few more trees. So the ombre trees, I ended up having all those trees on top of the cake because I had a bit of trouble keeping Elsa from tipping backwards. I think it was because Elsa's head was heavier than the body, so the trees will help with more support. Finally, I'm adding some white luster dust for shimmers and a few white sprinkles on the cake and on the sides. And there you have it, a frozen theme cake for Cora's 4th birthday. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you liked the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.